Hi folks, I'm Richard Friedman and welcome to my political cartoon countdown for March 12th, 2021. Every week or two we get together and we do the countdown based upon popularity on Twitter. And this week I have basically the top 3 cartoons with one that hasn't been posted on Twitter yet. So I'm going to show you that one first. And that's like a wild card kind of. We don't know where that's going to go, but here it is. And also, before we get to that, I just want to introduce you to my new book here. And that is The Greatest 2020 Book of Political Cartoons on Issues of the Donald J. Trump Presidency. And here's a, every week I just give you a few samples here. This was the, okay, if you remember, I'll just review it quickly here. Okay, Trump threatens protesters ahead of Tulsa, Oklahoma rally in June. 19th tweet, followed by White House Press Secretary Kelly McEnany asserting that the president's vague threat was not intended to apply to all protesters, just those gathering peacefully. Okay, so here was a peaceful protester. You know, this is what was considered a peaceful protester back then. You know, here comes the security guard. Okay. Okay. There was the security guard, and she's saying here, Trump 2020, keep America great, mask my ass. So that's a peaceful protester. See any? And that was outside the Tulsa, Oklahoma arena for a mass rally. Yeah. Okay. I just want to do one more here. One quick one. Okay, one very, very brief one here. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the Diamond Princess. Okay. This was basically when Trump has fantastic dream that all passengers aboard the coronavirus-plagued Diamond Princess cruise ship got well after the president cast coronavirus as a problem that's going to go away, as is under control in the U.S., despite a sharp rise globally. So this is President Trump here, dreaming, and there is the princess, and everybody's swinging the tennis racket out on the deck there, having a great time. You know, that was a dream. Meanwhile, yeah, you had people in bad shape on that ship. That's the dream. So just to give you an idea of, I try to make these cartoons, you know, very as detailed as I can to give you a full picture. There's Lindsey Graham. You got everybody here. Here's even John Wayne. Here's John Wayne. This is for voting. When Trump said he was going to throw out, nothing going to hold back anything for the 2020 election. He's going to have full force security at voting polls. So I had him kind of thinking about John Wayne as John Wayne as standing guard here at the security booths. Appropriate for what's going on now, what's happening, you know, in the states with the Republican legislatures trying to restrict voting rights. Voting, put it period, voting. Vote, well, it comes down to voting rights, yes, voting rights, because they're closing the polls early, they're doing all kinds of things for security. You have to keep it secure, we have less hours, more security. That's right, the less hours, the less problems you have, and then you have less security, you know? It's like saying, okay, we're going to cut down on juvenile delinquency by cutting school for a half a day, and then we have less students, we have less juvenile delinquency, you know? I used to be a school teacher, so that kind of popped into my head, you know, that analogy. Okay, so here's John Wayne, here. And he's saying, don't say good morning or I'll shoot you, just your voter IDs, you know? Okay, John Wayne. And the voting booths, securing it, okay? And this here was, all right, let's get to the countdown, folks. Here was my book. I encourage you, if you want, take a look at it, just to like look at the sample cartoons, just have a good time, like going to a Disneyland cartoon, a political cartoon Disneyland. Just go to Richard's, no apostrophe S, just Richard's, all small letters, no spaces, Richard's Books of Political Cartoons.com. And then you'll see all my books, and this is the one, the most recent. You see all the samples of the cartoon, and maybe you'll decide you don't need to buy the book, but that's okay. That's all right. As long as you get a laugh, have a good time, I'm happy. But obviously, I'd like you to buy my book, but whatever. I wish you a good time with my work. And here we go with the cartoon that was not put up on Twitter yet. So this is like potluck kind of thing, wild card here. So this is, here we have, and I'll kind of read that to you here. This is Susan Collins, and this is Chuck Schumer. Here's Chuck Schumer, and they're fighting, they're having a battle in the Capitol, you know? And the Capitol, they're raising rumpus in the Capitol with their fight, and that's the idea here. And this is their battle going on here. Susan Collins is a moderate Republican, and she could go, you know, but Schumer don't care about that. He's just going for the jugular. So anyway, here we go with this. Okay, State Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat, New York, and moderate Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins rocked the Capitol with their feud, you know, like the Hatfields and the McCoys, you know. That continues after Collins overcame Schumer's efforts to deny her a fifth term. So Schumer went out and tried to discourage people in Maine for voting for Susan Collins, you know. He probably pushed the line. Well, it's true that she did vote not to impeach President Trump her first time around, saying that he learned his lessons, you know. So, I mean, that's a, oh, here's my phone, folks. I gotta shut this thing off, you know. Okay. There we go. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna shut this thing off. I won't be bugged no more with this. There. Okay. Now, the idea here was that they got into an argument, a dispute, and it's going on and on. So it's cutting in now to Biden's presidency, and this is the lady that they need because they have a 50-50. You know, they just have it with the vice president's vote, they just make it. So if they lose one Democrat, say they lose Joe Manchin or something like that, they could still have Susan Collins because she's a moderate. But Schumer don't look at it like that. He's got to get in there, you know, and do his thing. So here's him doing his thing in a conversation at the Capitol with Susan Collins. Okay, here he goes. Senator Schumer. Okay. Here he is. Senator Collins, in 6 years, you will be going back to Maine, because she was just reelected, and he tried to foil that, but she got reelected anyway. So in 6 years, you will be going back to Maine. 6 years, you'll be going back to Maine, where she's from. That's who she represents in the Senate. And then Senator Schumer says, and Susan Collins retorts back. Here's Susan Collins right here. Okay. There. And here's Susan Collins. And Susan Collins says, Senator Schumer, in 2023, you will be driving a taxi cab in Brooklyn. That's where Schumer's from, Brooklyn. So he's going to be driving a taxi cab in Brooklyn, New York, you know, because you hurt President Biden's legislative efforts by driving me away. Because I might have voted for some of the legislation, but I got pissed at you and the whole deal, so that's the way that went. So then Schumer sticks to his guns, as he always does here, okay? And he comes back with a retort. There's Schumer. Susan Collins. The Capitol. Okay, here's Schumer. I would rather play golf with Lindsey Graham and Trump at his Doral National Resort In other words, that's how Lindsey Graham and Trump do business on the golf course. So he'd rather negotiate Biden's program with Lindsey Graham and former President Trump on President Trump's National Doral Resort golf place down south. So in Doral. So basically, that's his position there. So it would seem that way from his attitude. So anyway, that was that one. I'll do it one more time here. Susan Collins, the Capitol, Senator Schumer. Okay. Okay, now we go into the countdown. This is actually number 3. Here's Joe Manchin, and this is the all the states now in red that have laws coming up that have been introduced into their state legislatures to restrict voting. Okay, these are all the states that have done this. You see, that are in red. See, there we go. Okay. On Twitter, I left out Washington. I caught that one real quick. You know, that was just like out in the deep blue. You know, but I caught Washington State. So anyway, here we go. Here's Joe Manchin as a munchkin, which President Trump used to call Joe Munchkin, Senator Joe Munchkin. He got mad at him, and that became his name, Joe Munchkin. And here he is dressed and appropriate as a munchkin. And looking at the states that have gone red, not have gone red, but that represent states that with state legislatures that are pushing laws through their legislature, states that are pushing laws through their state legislatures that restrict voting. Okay, so here's Joe. I'm just going to read this real quick. So I guess I miss something. Senator Joe Manchin, aka via former President Trump, Senator Joe Munchkin, could determine the outcome of the grave threat to American democracy posed by the Republican-influenced red states. So this is true. Joe Manchin holds the key. If he sides with the Republicans to any extent, then that's it. Because the only way to negate the state, because the states by Constitution have their own right for election law. But if you pass a law that protects voting rights, it kind of knocks it out of the park, you know. So that's what they're up against right now, is trying to get this passed. If they can't get it passed, Democrats can't get this passed, well then their days are numbered, because what's going to happen is come 2022 and 2024, you're going to see a tidal wave of Republicans elected, and that's going to be a reaction in part, I got to say this in part, to President Trump's campaign to discredit the election of 2020 and all the people that went along with that. And so it infiltrated into the lawmakers who some of them were there from the get-go, you know? So anyway, here it is. And here's Joe Manchin. Let's just pass a voting rights bill as a munchkin. You know, as a munchkin now. Here he is, Joe Munchkin, Senator Joe Munchkin, as a munchkin. Let's just pass a voting rights bill for the states that need American democracy the most. Okay, so he was anxious when they passed that bill. He wanted to give only people who needed it the most. So the same thing applied here with democracy. Only the states that need democracy the most we will make a law for. So that's basically how I characterize that, his thoughts. Okay, and there's the United States. Okay. Joe Munchkin. Here we go. Okay. Okay. All right, now, here we got Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Now, he's watching former President Donald Trump vow to campaign against disloyal Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, who saying she represents her state badly and her country even worse. And she actually voted for the impeachment in this last impeachment thing in the Senate. She voted along with the Democrats. Lisa Murkowski was one of the few Republicans who did that. So she ain't going to get away with that in Trump world. You can be sure of that. So given McConnell said the former president was practically and morally responsible. Now McConnell has got his own problems with former President Trump because he came out and said the former president was practically and morally responsible. And President Trump's claims no responsibility at all for that Capitol riot. So that's kind of a nail in in McConnell from Trump. But anyway, for the January 6th Capitol riot. And Murkowski was one of the 7 Republican senators to vote to convict the former president in his last impeachment trial. Given McConnell reportedly has a list of possible successes in case he steps down. So Mitch McConnell, he's really working ahead. He's thinking future, you know, the future. He's got a crystal ball, and he sees the future. And he said he may have to bail out, parachute out of the Senate, because when it comes time for him to re-elect, he just got elected in 6 years. If Trump's going to be around 6 years, he'll be close to 90, I guess. But he's going to he'll be still plowing away at not getting McConnell elected. So McConnell says, and he sees what he's doing to Murkowski here. This is Lisa Murkowski. There she is. Lisa Murkowski, and there's President Trump with his red tie on. You see? He's mad. He's mad, thumbs up, but he's mad at Murkowski. And here's Murkowski. She's looking at starry-eyed and saying, what the hell's going on? You know, all I did is vote my conscience up too. You know. So there they are on TV, and Mitch McConnell watching all that business, and he's thinking to himself, "Oh boy, 6 more years. This is it for me." So he goes, and the thing is that Mitch McConnell now is basically saying he's thinking of people who could replace him. So he's trying to get a law passed through Congress, basically, that will, because it's to appoint senators when somebody resigns, it's the governor, you see. So he don't want to trust it to no governor to take his Senate from him. So he wants to basically pick out, have the right for his Republicans and him to pick out a selection, you know, like an assorted selection of chocolates in Godiva, you know, the Godiva chocolates. He wants a Godiva chocolate, thing, you know, with all those little truffles. But he wants to have his own truffles to present to the governor, so the governor could look at the truffles, the chocolate truffles, and which chocolate truffle from McConnell he likes the best. You see, so that way McConnell could still say, well, it's the governor picking him, but I picked the choices, and he picked my replacement. So he's trying to work along those lines now to do that, you know. So there you have it. So now here's his thoughts. Here he is parachuting out. He's thinking about himself and coming down a yellow parachute. There he goes. There goes Mitch parachuting out in maybe about five years or so from now. There he goes parachuting out of the Senate. There he is with his legs up in the air, and he's going. Here he goes. There he goes. There goes Mitch. There he goes. And he's saying, I'm going to need a good parachute to escape the Senate before my term expires in January 2027 to avoid this shit. Okay? So that's what, you don't want no part of being attacked by President Trump, you know? Okay. So there's Mitch McConnell with his yellow parachute. There's former President Trump, okay, ostracizing Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, okay. There she is, Lisa Murkowski, President Trump, and there's the head of McConnell looking at the TV, his thoughts, and here is his parachute coming in 5-6 years, the yellow parachute that he's going to just go. There he is. There he goes. Okay. All right, now, numero uno de la semana, number 1 of the week. Okay? Here's an interesting cartoon. Now, here we have Ronald Reagan, former President Ronald Reagan, and former President Trump. And we have Lindsey Graham. Here's what he said to compare the two. Here's Lindsey Graham. I didn't draw Lindsey Graham in this one, you know. So he's just said what he said basically is enough, you know. So anyway, so here it is. Okay. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham calls Donald Trump a cross between Jesse Helms, Ronald Reagan, and P.T. Barnum. That was a circus man P.T. Barnum, and he did say he was a magician too. P.T. Barnum was a little bit of a magician, so it's kind of Trump is a combination of a P.T. Barnum, a magician also, aside from being a bigger than life. Okay, but I didn't put that in, but I recall it now, saying it's just a bigger than life deal. So former President Trump is a bigger than life deal to Lindsey Graham, and he's a man of magic. He's just magic. It must be magic, under my swing. There was a song like that, Magic. You've got me under your spell. It must be. Do you believe in magic in the young girl's heart? The men of the music, and then it start. Do you believe in magic? That's it. That was the song. That was back on the Ed Sullivan Show when they had, I forget the group that did that. Do you believe in magic? But that was the song. Do you believe in magic in the president's heart? Magic. And here he goes. And here's Lindsey Graham again saying that. Do you believe? I'm just kind of just adding to that, okay? So here's what went on here. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham calls Donald Trump a cross between Jesse Helms, Ron Peach. Okay, said that. There I go again. Jimmy 2 times from Goodfellows. Get me the papers. I'm going to get the papers. Try not to repeat myself. Okay, so here we got. It's just this bigger than life deal below a comparison of Donald Trump to our 40th president, Ronald Reagan, because Lindsey Graham made that comparison. So I took an excerpt from significant comments that they made, went through in their presidency, okay? And here is former President Ronald Reagan arriving in Berlin on Friday, June 12, 1987. After viewing the Berlin Wall, an excerpt from the speech he made from the Brandenburg Gate. That was part of the wall, the Brandenburg Gate. That was part of the wall of the Iron Curtain, okay? The Brandenburg Gate, asking the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the then it was the Soviet Union before it broke up and became, just a Russia Confederation. Now it was then the Soviet Union. Mikhail Gorbachev, to open the Berlin Wall. So here is he went to Berlin in June of 1987, and he toured the wall. He saw it, and then he made this speech. And here he goes. General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. And there was President Reagan saying, that's his tear down this wall speech. Okay? There is his handkerchief in his pocket there. President Reagan. There he is. Okay, where have all the, it's like a song, where have all the Reagan Republicans gone? Long time passing, where have all the Reagan Republicans gone? Reagan Republic, a long time ago. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the Reagan Republicans gone? That's a song, just popped in my mind there. Okay, so there we are. Okay, and here they've been replaced by Lindsey Graham's. That's the bottom line. All the Reagan Republicans have been replaced by Lindsey Graham's and Mitch McConnell's. That's the genetical progression of our democracy. All right. I always like to give you a laugh, and then you decide. I don't like to influence anybody's opinion. Just a joke, the facts, and you decide. I always say that. And that's very important because I'm trying to get you to think and laugh at the same time. Okay, now here's President Trump. Okay, there he is. There's President Trump. Here's what happened here. Now, former President Trump, July 17th, 2018, after news conference with President Putin in Helsinki, Finland. He was in Helsinki, Finland, on Russian meddling in the 2016 election. They talked about other things, but this is focusing on that aspect in this segment here. So here's President Trump. This is what he said. Basically, this is what he said. There he is. There's President Trump. What he said back then. Here's what he said. I realize there is a need for some clarification. This is word for word. That's what President Trump said after that meeting with Putin in Helsinki. I said the word would instead of wouldn't. it should have gone like this. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia who meddled in the 2016 election. He said he doesn't see any reason why it would be. So that's the saying, like, he's saying it couldn't be Russia, it could be somebody else, fat man in a bed or whatever. Couldn't be Russia. But then he clarified and he said, I meant to say it wouldn't, I can see any reason why, it wouldn't be Russia, okay? And then you put that in the context of what I said following that, and then you decide. But I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today of meddling in the 2016 election. Very, very strong and powerful in his statement. So that he did, that's word for word, most of this is, and there it is. Okay, this guy was very popular on Twitter. Okay. Oh, my site on Twitter is Bronx Cartoonist at RJF Cartoons. If you ever want to look at my cartoons on Twitter, you'll find them there too, along with my website, Richard's Books, no apostrophe S, Richard's Books at politicalcartoons.com. And one last look here at President Reagan at the wall, and President Trump here coming back from Helsinki in a press conference. Oh, well, here's what he said when he was in Helsinki, actually. It's injected here. So there it is. So whichever way you want to look at it, I leave that up to you folks. In any event, I want to thank you very much for watching my political cartoon countdown for this week. I wish you all a good week, and stay well and healthy, and don't try and do any experimenting on going to beach parties or anything like that, or whatever. Well, I know it's not summer yet, but some people live in the southern parts of the country. So anyway, I wish you the best. Stay healthy, stay well, and I say this: God bless you, and God bless America. God bless you, and God bless America. Take care, folks. See you next time.